Well, hi everybody. This is just doing this to put on the front of my other video I just got through. I want you to pray for my son-in-law Randy Paddock, and just he's had, I don't know, this is his second or third bout with COVID, and then he's had some other medical problems that he thought was all healed up, and most of that is, but then he got kidney stones. And so anyway, when you hear this, just send Randy Paddock love and healing, and then I'm going to start the other video. I love you all. Thank you so much. That mic's been working. Hi everybody. Coming to you on this glorious day when we find out they're overturning Roe v. Wade. Hey, how about that? I think I'm a poet. It's really sad. I know that even with everything that's going on, and there's some pretty bad stuff out there, it's still better to vote for the Democrats. Oh, every time I think I know right where something's at, I don't. But anyway, how are y'all doing out there? I was looking over my notes here. Hi, everybody. How are you doing out there? I hope you're doing great. It's not the best day for any of us with this Roe v. Wade stuff. We knew it was coming, and we assumed that the Democrats were just going to sit back with their thumb at their ass and ignore it till it came down on our heads. At least they're a little forewarned. Give them something to raise money on, something to campaign on, anything to put money in their coffers. That's all they care about. They don't, I don't know. You got to vote Democrat no matter what. We know that we got to vote Democrat no matter what. I hope you're all doing fine. Oh, I can't seem to get a giggle going tonight. It's really hard night to get a giggle going. We know that the Republicans are monsters, but what are the Democrats if they don't fight monsters? They're so worried about somebody telling them that they stepped over the line, or they said something wrong, or they made a face, or they're pushing for abortion. You know, that's you. When's the last time you heard anybody on the Democratic Party even talking about abortion? A whole bunch today. Even Kamala Harris came out today, bless her heart. I was proud to see that, and I'll tell you why about that later, because that's what was going to be. I was going to talk about Kamala Harris before all this stuff's come up. They just use it to fundraise. Whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, everything they do is just fundraising. See how much money they can get from their corporate donors, and let's face it, they have the same corporate donors, but they're still less evil than the Republicans. So we have to vote Democratic, and that's really horrible. Like I say, the Republicans are monsters, but the Democrats, should we call them if they won't fight the monsters, or even call them out? I mean, they're taking away, making kids feel horrible in schools because of the laws they've let get passed, and nobody spoke out against that. They've MSNBC and CNN, and I won't even mention the other one. They control the whole narrative, and it's all just pitting one person against each other. It's either us or them, instead of coming out and saying what's really going on, to ask a follow-up question when it needs to be asked. So I don't know what to say. I was going to spend the night. I had my next reading or whatever, but in the night. But I was going to talk about Kamala Harris because that was another thing. They used her for the black vote to get in there, and then let's hide her and pretend there's not any black people in our... Here, let's just keep her out of sight. So I was just listening to her speech tonight, which was pretty good. And they need to use her. And they need to use her bad. To start with, they need to use her because she's the smartest person in the room. And secondly, they need to use her to get the feminine vote. I was just getting ready to do a whole deal tonight on how they needed to get her out of the closet and quit hiding her. And everybody's been blaming it on her, that she's not doing this or she's not doing that or she's not doing enough. But she's told exactly what to do and when to do it. So if nobody gets to see her, it's because they're hiding her. So maybe they'll pull her out of the closet now. Who knows? Did any of you read some of the stuff on those that got leaked? Like that Alito or whatever, he said that Roe v. Wade was only started because of eugenics, that they were trying to keep black people from having babies. Well, even when they first started it, even up to now, a lot of black women couldn't even afford abortions. This has been in law for 50 years. So that's just total bullshit. And there was a time when they were trying to get when they were doing eugenics on black women, but that doesn't mean that they should make everybody in the world have a baby. I'm not saying this right. It's not coming out right. The reason that's why Roe v. Wade was started is that's totally bullshit. And then what was the other one? Let me look at this. And to start with, this Supreme Court leak I'm positive the minute I heard it, I knew it came from the Republican side. So you can take that to the bank, that the Republicans leaked this. And I think they thought it would help them just chisel that wall down more, They should have came out when the first time when that Merrick Garland was supposed to be the Supreme Court judge, and that would have been a damn good place for him. I didn't want him in there because I thought he was way too far to the right, but he would have been a breath of fresh air in there now. But the Democrats should have came right out and filed a lawsuit. I was just listening to Glenn Kushner tonight. They had the authority, they had the rule of law behind them to stop them from blocking him, but they just let it go. That's one thing about Obama. He was the first black president, and like I said, I damn near worshipped him. But the more I see that the things he overpassed and let go and went by, for 2 years, he had the House and the Senate and all the votes he needed almost to pass anything. And they could have codified Roe v. Wade. And he said, it wasn't time to codify it. It was just... I know hindsight's always better than foresight, or whatever you want to call it, but it's not it's just some of the things the Dems have done are totally ridiculous. And they're not going to get their power back unless they stand up to these people. The only way you can get your power back from a bully is to stand up to them. And the whole party, the whole Republican Party is nothing but a big bully. And they don't play fair and they don't play by the rules. And the way things are set up right now, they could go in, remove the filibuster, or bring it in. I don't know if you put it in or take it out to change the rules, where less people have to vote this in. But they could vote this through. They could codify it right now. But they're already whining about the parliamentarian, and they're just being the same. What would you call them? I just want to pull my hair out. I'm also a little upset because Nina Turner lost her race. I didn't think she'd win it because she didn't have enough money behind her. But she also didn't have any progressive. Oh, that's something else too. Nancy Pelosi's daughter already came out today and saying the reason that they're taking away women's abortion rights is because of the progressives, that the Democrats have gone too far left. I'll tell you, as long as you got the big money people and the big pocket people like Nancy Pelosi and the president, no, I'm sorry, but people that's been taking money from these corporations all their life in there, they're not going to give an inch to any of these progressives that would like to come in there and, do all this crazy stuff like have Medicare for all and get rid of college debt and what was the other ones? I can't. My head's not even, it's just been spinning all day. Things that all the other countries, leave after pregnancy, after having babies, and all these nice things that they could be doing. So, I don't know what to say. It's 70% of everybody in the United States agrees with all the progressives' agenda, and yet they won't even stand up for it. They won't stand up against Nancy Pelosi. Anyway, what else have I got here? Let me look. I don't want to come on here and just start bitching, but if anybody that turned on my channel tonight should know that there's going to be some bitching on it. I think this whole thing was released just to soften the blow when it comes through, and to keep telling people we don't really know what that is, but people are already used to it. And you know how our news cycles are now. I hope I can't go out in the streets, but by God, I'd be out in the streets. I'd be out in the streets somewhere. And that was another thing. Everything that they had planned to go through in June, I'm sure if this thing came out like this, that's going to mess with that and not be that big of a deal. It should be. It should be twice as big. It should give them longer to get ready for it. It could be solved if the Democrats wanted to fight. And you can get on to me for picking on the Democrats all you want. Unless they do something, it won't make any difference anyway. And another thing they were talking about on that, what do you call it, that bill elite, was that they needed to go back to 1789. And yep, that's where they're trying to take us. 1789, gee. Want to know what the forefathers were thinking. Who gives an F what the forefathers were thinking in 1789? We know they were thinking that the wives stay home and stay pregnant in our property, and then we have our girlfriends and everything else for our business and our parties and all that kind of stuff. And then we have our slaves. They were all slave owners. So who could totally give a flying F what the forefathers were thinking in 1789? And that's one of the things Alito mentioned in his bill. And of course, like I said, they're already blaming this on the progressives. Everything that goes wrong for these spineless people that won't fight against anybody. It's always the progressives' fault, and the progressives aren't fighting them, or they're just going along to get along. Half of them probably already taken the money. I don't know. When I see some of them who they backed and who they didn't back in the elections that went off today. I guess AOC finally came through for Tina Turner, but she didn't. She waited till 2 days before the election to do it. She should have been out there campaigning with her. Because I don't think she knows her power, and that's another thing. Had she been out there, this is my theory, had she have been out there campaigning with Tina Turner, she would have seen the reception she could have got. People are so tired of listening to imbeciles. To see somebody talk that knows what they're talking about, and especially two people, Tina Turner and her together, that would have blown people's minds. But to do that kind of stuff too, you have to have some money behind you. And Tina Turner hardly had a pittance behind her compared to what that lady that went up against her or whatever, the one that still got, I don't know if she's already through with her court stuff or not, but she got huge fines for doing illegitimate stuff. That was before she was even put in there. She was even elected in 2 years ago with that stuff hanging over her head, but I think some kind of crooked deal she pulled for her boyfriend's company or something. So, yeah, they call that originalist. Originalist. 1787. That's what he wants to take it back to. How can taking the rights away from more than half the people in the U.S. be anything to do with democracy? And when was the last time you heard anything about them even putting any kind of restrictions on what men could do with their body? It is just totally, they just want women to be incubators. This just blows my mind. And what blows my mind, going back to the Dems again, is them being so quiet while they went through and Democrats. They were taking rights away from school children, taking books out of school, and I think there's only been one Democrat that even stood up and talked about it, and she did get some money sent to her. They wanted to fundraise. Why don't they fundraise on whipping against the Democrats? Instead of waiting until something like this comes down and then keep going on TV and texting everybody and saying, send me money, send me money, send me money. They're taking your rights away. Well, yeah, they're taking our rights away. As long as nobody does anything about it in the Democratic Party that has any power or that could do something about it, like maybe Congress or the Senate. They just sat there with their mouth. They didn't want, like for years, Nancy Pelosi didn't want anybody talking about abortion because that wasn't good for the Democrats. When that was the law and the law of the land, and they should have been proud of it. And nobody's proud of having to get an abortion, but proud of the rights that gave women. And they should have made that clear and made it clear to everybody. And some people would have known what they were fighting for. The younger generation doesn't even think. I don't know. They've got the brain. Because of being raised on the internet, I'm not even sure if they have a reasoning ability. But it's just so stupid. So anyway, I better quit ranting and raving here. I'm going to have to shut this off, I guess. But another thing, I would love to see them using Kamala more, and that's what I was going to talk about, but I'm not going to talk anymore about that. But they need to bring her out and let her show what she's got or what she doesn't have. Just hiding her in the corner and bringing her out right before the election and say, we got a black person here. No, we want voting rights for black people. We want voting rights for everybody. We want voting. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's just ridiculous. And yeah, everything they do just hurts the poorest among us. I mean, people that are even people as poor as me, if I needed God, I can't imagine having a baby. But if I was 40 years younger and needed an abortion, I could have afforded to fly somewhere and get one, or drive somewhere, or do anything. If it was just I could have even gone to another country and got one if it came to something as important as that, and I didn't have the money to raise that child. But this just hurts the poorest. It hurts the poorest among us, and I know that they're getting tired of going out and voting Democratic when nothing that they're promised goes through for them. And I just should have read some of my notes before I started ranting here, I guess. But let me see if I can find out what I was going to read on. I promise I'm going to cut some of this out of there. That's 50 years. And I'm not as mad at the court or the Republicans for trying to get rid of this. They've been screaming it out loud what they were going to do. I'm mad at the Democrats for ignoring it, for not bringing it up, for not raising funds. Talk about a fundraiser. They could have raised some stuff on it, but they just feel so guilty all the time. I mean, what in the world is wrong with these people? I'm really upset. These child tax cuts that they let child tax credits that they let go, put all these kids back into poverty. Never even mentioned it. Never even mentioned it. But it was the only thing they can come out to mention is whatever happens, it's the progressives' fault, even though the progressives have no power at all. No power at all. Well, they need to take power. That's why they were so terrified about Nina Turner getting in there, and if the whole squad would have stood behind all that, they could have got some money going that way. But no. Anyway, I've been seeing other people rant today. I don't know if I've watched any of the other card readers on this, but I've been watching people on TV rant on this, so I'm not the only one. So let me find who I'm going to read on. Maybe it's the people I tore out over here. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Every time I thought I'd get more organized with that new book, but I'm going to rip every one of these pages out tonight and start over again, because I'm already confusing myself too much in there. Well, Jamie Raskin said there'll be surprises when we hear about this January 6th committee. I'll believe it. When I see it. I'm sure that'll all get leaked too in this month probably. I don't even know who or what to read on. I guess let's read on Kamala Harris and see if she gets more popular. That's good, because she needs to get more popular. And let's see if I can find the cards. There they are. I don't even know where my cards are. So Kamala Harris needs to get more popular. She was the smartest one on the list for the job. I like the one that's running in Georgia, but I don't even think she was on the list. But can't think of her name right now, I'll tell you. I always wake up so sharp and I'm going to read on all this stuff. And by the time I do it at 12 hours later, or 15 hours later, I think it's almost midnight here. Well, I like this card on the bottom here. So is that your card, Kamala? Are you coming forward? So what's going on with Kamala Harris? Is she going to bring any power through? Is she going to help? Is she going to start helping? Because I know Joe Biden's the same age exactly I am. We're not born on the same month, but the same year. He's right before me. So I'm a little, he's a month or so older than me. If he's a Scorpio, I'm a Libra. But just looking at his eyes and stuff, I can tell that he's tired and he's not picking up on everything. And his hearing's probably not that good. There's probably a lot of other things going on. But he's sharp. I'm not calling him not sharp. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done a pretty good job for his age. But by not fighting back against these monsters, that's not going to get it. Joe Manchin is not his friend, and Kristen Sinema, he was talking about how smart she was. The man needs to learn that, no, it's not. I don't know anyway. Really upset about this. So, Kamala, what's going on with you? And by the way, my name's Lynn. If you want a personal reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. lynntarotreadings@gmail.com if you'd like a personal reading. So let's see, what's going on with you, Kamala? It's saying cut him one more time. I don't know why, but it is. Well, she's on the world stage, but we've known this. We kind of thought she was. She's kind of been hidden. They've had her under the stage half the time, but here it shows her coming forward here. Shows the world. Woo. So maybe this is something they'll really give her to work on and let her really do it. Something that might even that'll be out in the open. Because this is like manna from heaven. So this energy of them taking away women's rights is going to end up helping Kamala Harris. It's like they start to bring her out and then they delay it. Why are they delaying it? She's got all of her ducks in a row. She knows how to do this thing, and she knows how to do it right if they would just let her. They need to take her off the wall and quit using her for decorations. Use her as a partner to Biden so she can go in there and do what she was voted in there to do, to help the Democrats. Not the Democrats in office collect money from their donors, to help the Democratic people and the people that don't have that much money. Well, this is her house. This is the 7th house. And we've got the Queen of Wands, so it shows like she's going to come through and show some of her power. And as much as I've been talking about the Democrats only worried about their coffers, here is more money coming to the Democrats. So I guess everything takes money out there nowadays. They're not going to get anything from corporations, except stuff for corporations. So maybe some will come in from the people and they can use it to help the people, but then they always do what their donors want. This is her hopes and fears card. Look at this. I told you that they'd been holding her back and hiding her and sticking her under the stage instead of on the stage. And here, this is what's been going on. They've been afraid to use her because I swear, they're so busy trying to pacify all the Republican talk and all the bullshit out of Tucker Carlson's racist mouth that they just been trying to hide her. They need to bring her out of the closet, and she'd definitely be a winner. Definitely be a winner. So let's go back through this. The world's watching, and it would be good for the world. This is going to help bring her talents out. They're still going to haggle back and forth over it for a little while and then push her out there because she definitely knows more about what the law than anybody else. They need to take her out off of the picture and let her become a human being and do what needs to be done. The people would love that. It's going to really boost the Democratic Party if they do that, if they start using her. And it's also going to pick up a lot of these forgotten people that they've just brushed under the rug, the people that was from BLM and all that stuff. That's another thing they never talk about. Every time I hear BLM on the corporate news, all I hear is the ones that caused the riots all over the United States. The riots. They didn't cause riots. They had a few people that were in there looting, but most of what they were doing was just peaceful marches, just marching. If it wouldn't have been for the police kettling them and people shooting at them in front of the White House, they weren't doing riots. So, and this is the news media. This is the corporate news that's pushing all that shit. So anyway, here she is taking her spot in power where she should be. And this is bringing money into the party because they're finally putting her where she got elected to help. She's felt like she was in jail, and as she comes out, it will help her be a winner, and it'll help the Democratic Party be a winner. So it's not Kamala Harris, it's the way they've used her. That's where all this bad press has come about her. And it hasn't helped the Democratic Party. They thought they were helping themselves by hiding her as the token black lady. I swear, that's what I feel. And I'm sorry about that, but that's what I feel about it. Why haven't they used her more? There's no reason not to. And every time she spoke, it's been like she had a rope around her neck. She was afraid to talk out. They need to they need to give her more power, and they need to give her more leeway. Okay, let's see who else we can read on. I'm only going to read on 3 things. Let's read on Putin's health. I guess he had surgery today. I keep seeing him getting a piercing pain on the left-hand side of his head. It's like a projectile hits him, like a bullet. But this is for YouTube. It's for entertainment only. I'm not suggesting that anybody do anything to hurt this man. Not out loud over YouTube, anyway. But I was trying to do some automatic writing about him. I used to do quite a bit of that. It's been a lot of years ago, but I thought, well, try some of that. And I was concentrating on him, and that's all I could see. And I even had some kind of timeline in there. I can't remember what it was. I know timelines don't work when you're dealing with spirit, but I did see him just whatever. It wasn't good. So I want to thank everybody that's watched me before, and everybody. You guys send me some questions. Send me some questions. Oh, Putin. I was going to read on Putin. Good Lord. I need help. Oh, I'm going to Hawaii Saturday. That's a nice Mother's Day present, isn't it? My daughter was going to go with her husband, and he got sick and couldn't go and was busy with work, and so she asked me to go, and she already had a 5-day trip planned, and so what a wonderful Mother's Day gift from your children. I've been to Hawaii, but it was in 1982. That's how long ago it was. So I'm sure it's changed quite a bit, but since then, we're going to Maui. So I loved Maui even when I went the first time. That was my favorite spot that I got to see the first time. So, Putin, what's going on with you? Well, this literally fell out. It wasn't on the cut. The fool is leaving. That almost answers it right there. But they're working hard to make him leave. I got the fool, the hardest work there is, the hardest burden, and the chariot. So I think he's leaving. Let's see what comes up with the rest of the cards when we do them here. Well, we know that he's been getting offers. They've given him all kinds of offers, but I've got a funny feeling that this is not like Ukraine. This is like the people, the generals and stuff that work for him are going to be giving him offers, giving him ideals of what they want to do. And this is a signifier. This tells me yes, that's what they're going to. I was right about that. Because he's really sick. Really sick. Maybe those operations didn't go very good. Yeah, he almost put them off too long. This was like rushing to do them. So they were rushing to do these operations. Shows that he's still trying to defend his ideals and his way and staying in control. But if they let him stay in control, it's going to turn out terrible. They need to get rid of him. His generals and everything need to come in and take control. Somebody does. If anybody needs a coup, it's Russia. At least if somebody that took him over was younger, they wouldn't be as apt to be running around screaming nuclear weapons. So this is what would be, this is the 7th house. This would be his house since we're reading on him, but there's something going on here. There's some kind of plan. So I think maybe he is really sick. Maybe this operation didn't go so good. Okay, every time I say I think, my next card I draw is an ace, saying, yeah, you're right. I don't think there's any women in charge of anything militarily in Russia, but here it shows a woman speaking out, talking, negotiating, doing something. Her energy's over this. Or maybe that's the hopes and fears. Maybe there is some woman in there that he's afraid might get a little power. But the outcome of this is up in the air. And I'm not going any more than 10 on this. I already did 13 because I did 3 at the top. So the cards over the heading is, they're doing a lot of hard work to get the fool to leave there, just to get him out of control of this, because they're tired of it. Even the people in Russia. And they're not ready to start World War IV, World War III, and yeah, they're not ready for that. So they want to get him out of there. So they've been trying to negotiate and get him out of there anyway. And now that he's sick, they're talking about it a lot more. And here he is, really sick. with something that came on. He knew he was sick, but he didn't know how bad. That's why this was like a rushed in deal, this surgery. Um, they're trying to keep, if he really goes down, already talking about how they can go to higher ground and get out of this. The people, whoever it would be that would be in control, nobody knows till they really get rid of him. But it's going to be really scary coming up in the next week or 10 days to find out what's going on over there, because they're trying to do some contracts and take his power away while he's down. And here's saying yes. And I don't know what some woman in power has to do with this, but some woman has something to do with this. And it's still up in the air. But look at this. The fool is leaving. So I don't know if that was helpful or not. He is a lot sicker than most people think he is. I feel like that from these cards. So let's read on a happier note. I don't know how happy it is. People got killed when it happened. But on this January 6th stuff, Jamie Raskin says that what they have to say is going to really surprise us. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I was saying way before it even happened that was going to happen, and it wasn't going to be no accident that it was that they were even thinking about martial law, because they were not going to give up power. And I had a lot of people get a hold of me and tell me I was crazy, but I was right. Sometimes even I'm right. So let's see if people are going to be in this shock and awe that Jamie, sometimes he's just like a child too, but this Jamie Raskin, I really love him. I feel, when I talk about the Democrats, I'm not saying they're all horrible. They're like Don Quixote. They're running around fighting the progressives when they need to be fighting the damn Republicans. But anyway. So Jamie Raskin and the stuff he was talking about, the January 6th, when they start doing this in the public, is it going to shock the people? Is it going to shock the people when they start doing this publicly? Well, we know the whole world's going to be watching. How could I do that after all that shuffle and then draw the world out of there for the base on that? The world will be watching. And maybe they'll bring Kamala Harris in to help. I know that this is probably Nancy Pelosi. I hate to even mention her name. If she gets her ass into it, she'll just sit down and cover up her head and give up and say, send me more money. For a refrigerator full of designer ice cream. Well, this shows an offer. Somebody's offering somebody something. Maybe not even to show the public. I don't know. Let's see what that's about. It says it's a fake offer. I hope he's not exaggerating on what we're going to learn. Here it shows the Justice Department hopefully getting involved. Maybe that'd be our hopes and dreams that come into this, that they'll find out enough stuff where even Merrick Garland can't go hide under his desk. It does show them blowing some minds here. We got the magician on the top of the world. So if it doesn't surprise us Americans, it will at least surprise the rest of the world. And it's going to be mind-boggling. Once you start watching it, you can't quit. Maybe even some of these right-wing assholes, religious fervor. Oh, I'm so aggravated. anytime somebody tries to push their religion on other people, it upsets me so bad. Anyway, this is like people just being amazed. It'd be they won't be able to take their eyes off of it. That's the right wording for that card. And hopefully it does put the swords right in their back. Wouldn't that be something? If this really did the job, then I promise that I would never, ever, ever say another bad word about the Democrats. If this thing really did take the Republicans down because of this, what they have to do. Dark and light, dark and light. Maybe to even us back up as a country a little bit. Maybe they'll shed light on the darkness. That's what I'm feeling about this. Shed light on the darkness. Some of the Republicans are really afraid of this. That's their fear. They're afraid of what might be exposed. The outcome is the King of Pentacles. Does that mean they're going to get Trump? Does that mean they're going to expose him? Let's see. Got the bully walking away. Peace coming in. And feminine energy coming in. So what's going on? We got the world watching. This is the house. It could be Liz Cheney ruling over this. This is some offers that they try to make to people to get them to testify so they don't have to threaten them and have them. I don't think they'll bring him in. I don't think Garland's going to give out anything. Doesn't look like. So we'll have to see how much they can come through without his help. Maybe I'll read on him. I wasn't going to read on anybody else, but maybe I'll read on him real quick. Hate to even mention his name. But this is justice coming through. And this is them pulling a rabbit out of a hat. This is it being so mesmerizing people can't take their eyes off of it. This is the Republicans really stabbing themselves in the back. That's what this was, and it's going to come to the surface. It's going to expose the darkness in the Republican Party. And some of them are terrified about it. And then it shows the King of Pentacles. And I think that's Donald Trump with all the money there. I mean, whether it's money in hand, which he can raise it by just acting like a whiny little bitch and having everybody send him money. I'm not saying he's got that much money. But he's definitely the bully, and he's walking away. He will be exposed. Now, I don't think he'll ever be able to run again. I think that's what it's saying. And here's the Angel of Hope and also Temperance. Just take a deep breath, and this is the feminine energy coming through. So let's just hope that that is what happens. And then I'm going to do Garland real quick because I'm going to try to cut a bunch of stuff out of this first part of this tape. Or tapes. Got to tell how old I am. First part of this video because I was talking too much. And I know that everybody be throwing rocks at me. No matter what I say, it's always the wrong thing. It's like people still think it's a football team between a red team and a blue team instead of realizing that that's not what it is. When I talk about the Democrats, I just It's not a damn game. It's our democracy, and they need to start protecting us. We voted them in there to protect us, and they're not doing nothing. Anyway, Garland, is he going to come out and actually file some charges or do investigations, or is he going to do his job? That's the best thing. That would be his job, to do what needs to be done. Is he going to become a prosecutor instead of a pondering judge? Well, here's the judge. It was funny that I asked that question right before I put this up, but this also could be your head prosecutor, the big heavy, the big guy. So we got him. This is a signifier. Oh, it looks like he's going to rush in over obstacles to influence something. I hope it's not to stop something, that when it finally starts going right, if the Democrats do something right. But he's somebody definitely rushing in there, moving forward. I like these cards. And we got the King of Pentacles moving forward with good backing and good help. People around him that want to work with him and take this justice on. And some women that really want to help and are really good. We got the Empress in the sky. Some woman's going to help him do this, even she's just working for him or whatever. There's some woman that's really going to help with this. Another woman. We got the Queen of Swords. Maybe he's going to let some females start running the office and get something done. Well, in the 7th house, here's the offer. And I've got a strange feeling holding this in my hand, that this offer is coming from him to them. Maybe just to give up and walk away. I don't know. And maybe he won't go after him so hard. I don't know. But it's some kind of offer he's literally given out to people to do with this prosecution. And the biggest energy around what's going on is he doesn't even know where to start. There's so much. There's so much prosecuting that he should be doing for different events and different people. He doesn't. That's been part of the holdup. This whole thing about going after the ex-president and stuff is like he feels like he might tear the country down, but the country's already tore down, and the country's just going to burn to the ground if he don't do something. So that's one reason he's been slow, trying to figure out what he's doing. And then it shows him walking away. This is really weird. I'm going to pull one more card over that walking away. But it looks, I think I read cards 3 or 4 weeks ago on him and said something about he was going to be replaced or resign. Not that Biden's going to take him out of there, but it'll be his idea if he goes. But maybe running away from this, I don't know. Maybe there's somebody stronger coming in that could take what he's got and really do something with it. Here's the King of Swords. So this is what these cards are saying. And it is him. This is Garland, Merrick Garland. And this shows him coming in fast and strong, moving forward with a few things. against the Trump organization or Trump or something, some of the things he did while he was in there that he shouldn't have done. I take your pick. And here's the Empress, people way high up, attorneys, people helping him. And here's the Queen of Swords, somebody up. That's probably, so maybe they'll get a lot of stuff from Liz Cheney and from the January 6th group. Maybe that's what those two women are. And here he's offering a deal to somebody, and I think it's just to get away, just saying I'll let you off the hook if you just go and fade into the sunset. I don't know. I have a feeling it's some kind of deal for somebody to go away. Maybe it's him. And then we didn't even know where to start because there's been so much stuff. Afraid he'll burn democracy down. It's burning down by itself. I got news for you, Mr. G. And shows somebody walking away here. Since we're reading on him, I would say that was him and somebody stronger coming in. So I think it looks like he's definitely going to get everything started and then resign. I don't know. Maybe he's not healthy. He looks pretty healthy for somebody his age and everything. I don't know. It looks like he is going to get things started. I don't know what that deal is at the end of it. I hope he don't act like that other Moss, or what in the hell was his name, that other district attorney in New York that just got in and threw everything out. I don't think he's going to go there. He knows that would be total burn down the house. It'd be better just to keep ignoring it like he has been. But it looks like he is going to quit ignoring it and at least start pursuing it. How it's going to turn out, I don't know. We'll read on that once he gets started on this. But it does look like he is definitely coming through with something. Anyway, I love you all. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope the hell the damn thing's taken. I hope it's on. I kind of got a mirror over there so I can see it a little bit. And it's really late, probably 1 o'clock, or I don't know. If it's not 1, it's 12. And so I'm going to let y'all go. And I just want to thank y'all for being so nice. And if you please send me your questions. I'm going to be gone. I'm going to leave it on for Hawaii on the 7th, and it's only 5 days. I think we're coming back on the 12th, So I'll be back, and send me questions because I'm not going to be running all over like my daughter, like I wish I could with my daughter, because I don't know if I'm healthy enough to run all over. We'll see how it works when I get back. I don't know. When I went to Florida, my daughters had me going every day, so it didn't hurt me. So anyway, I love you all, and please contact me if you need a reading, or just let me know what you want me to read on. Thank you. Bye now. Namaste.